Hello, I'm Nolan Chen, Partner Solutions Architect for AWS.
And I'm Ashley Weaver, developer advocate for Writer.
We live in a complex, interconnected world. That's why the AI agents we build need to be interconnected as well. In this video, we will show you how you can build multi-agent workflows with Writer's family of Palmyra models on Amazon Bedrock. But first, let's start with a simple question. Ashley, who is Writer?
Great question, Nolan. So, Writer is the full stack generative AI platform built for enterprises. And our integrated system of LLMs, graph based RAG, AI guardrails, and development tools makes it easy for organizations to deploy AI agents and workflows that deliver impactful ROI. But that being said, we give companies multiple ways to actually integrate. So, from our low code, no code agent builder platform to full code options like our SDKs, APIs, plus third party integrations with Strands Agents SDK and Amazon Bedrock, there's a bunch of different ways that organizations can get started.
Thanks, Ashley. What stands out to me about Writer is that Writer is enterprise focused. Now, this is important because the needs of enterprises are very different from the needs of the consumer. But that said, there are now a wide variety of models that enterprises can choose from. So Ashley, can you tell us why Writer decided to build their own models?
Yeah. So, Writer recognized early that building its own LLMs was key to meeting the strict security, compliance, and accuracy standards that enterprises require, something that general purpose models just can't always guarantee, right? So, owning the full stack allows us to deliver long context reasoning, domain specific performance, and cost efficient solutions tailored to a wide variety of different enterprise customers.
I like how you mentioned the importance of owning the full stack because models by themselves aren't useful until you stack well-architected agentic applications both on top and around them. Now, enterprises, of course, have a wide range of business needs. So can you tell us what are some of the most common use cases for Writer's Palmyra models?
Yeah. So, Writer models, both our foundation Palmyra X4, X5 models, as well as our industry specific models, support a wide range of different enterprise use cases across different industries. And they're already trusted by many Fortune 500 companies today. But with that being said, a few of the industries that I typically see our models operate in the financial services, healthcare and life sciences, and even retail and consumer goods industries. But that's just to name a few.
Great. Can we now see Palmyra in action?
Let's do it. So before I hop into the demo, I think it'll be powerful to actually walk through an overview. So this demo highlights how Writer models can run inside a multi-agent system orchestrated by the Strands Agents SDK. So some of these models are integrated directly through the Writer API for full control, while others are through Amazon Bedrock, which handles the infrastructure management for you. But more specifically, this demo shows how different specialized tools can collaborate under the management of a central knowledge agent, which uses natural language to direct queries to the domain-specific Writer model and agent best suited to handle that particular question or task. But I think the next logical question we should answer is, what exactly is this good for, right? So how is this powerful? So this is ideal for a variety of both internal and external use cases. To name a few, we could have an internal-facing cross-functional chat assistant answering department-specific questions, or we could have a document processing pipeline with intake and analysis handled by different specialized agents, or potentially we could have an external-facing chat assistant that can handle customer-related questions and queries and then route them to the correct specialized agent.
Now, for those of you who are new to Strands and Bedrock, Strands Agent SDK is a development toolkit that helps developers build agentic applications with less code. Amazon Bedrock gives you API access to leading LLMs, including Writer's Palmyra models, through a fully managed service.
So before we go into the code, let's zoom out a little bit and look at the architecture that actually powers this multi-agent system. So I'm going to start at the top and we're going to work our way down. So at the top, we have our knowledge agent, or the orchestrator behind our multi-agent system. And it's the central coordinator that routes queries to our specialized agents using Palmyra X5 on Amazon Bedrock. Going one layer deeper, we have query classification and routing. So this is how our knowledge agent is actually able to figure out where we should route each one of our queries. So you can kind of think of this as the switchboard powered by Writer, right? So it's using Writer's routing prompt logic via a knowledge agent prompt. Going another layer deeper, we have each one of our specialized agents. So going left to right, we first have our creative assistant. So this handles creative tasks, brainstorming, and content generation using Palmyra Creative. Then we have our financial assistant that processes financial analysis and insights using Palmyra Fin. Then we have our medical assistant that handles medical information and analysis using Palmyra Med. And again, each one of these domain-specific agents are using a domain or industry-specific Writer model through direct integration, so through the Writer API. Lastly, you can probably see that each one of these assistants or agents are connected to the tools that best help them solve that task. So this is combining Writer's models with powerful utilities via the Strands Agents SDK.
So if I understand correctly, each of these assistants, creative, financial, and medical, are themselves AI agents, just like the knowledge agent orchestrator, right?
Yep.
Now, can you tell us now how each of these agents work using code?
Yeah, let's do it. So let's actually walk through how these agents work in code. So what we're looking at here is our knowledge agent. So again, this is the orchestrator of our multi-agent system, and it's powered by Amazon Bedrock. So we first create the Bedrock model by initializing Palmyra X5, Writer's foundation model. Once we have initialized this model using our Amazon credentials, then we can actually pass it to our knowledge agent or our Strands agent. There's a few additional things I want to walk through here. So first is our system prompt or our knowledge agent prompt. So if we think back to our architecture overview, this is where query classification and routing really comes in. So the switchboard behind our multi-agent system. If we look at our knowledge agent prompt, it actually tells our knowledge agent how to route incoming queries to which specialized agent. So for our medical agent, it's for answering medical questions. Our financial agent, it's for processing questions for or from a financial domain. And then for our creative agent, it's for responding to questions that require extra creativity skills. So once we tell our knowledge agent how to actually route these incoming questions or queries, then the next logical question is, how is our knowledge agent able to use each one of these specialized agents or assistants? And that's through this tools array where we can pass each one of these specialized agents.
Ashley, you talked earlier about how the knowledge agent is able to route to the correct specialized assistant. Can you show us in the code now how the knowledge agent is able to do this?
Yeah. So I think that's a great segue into, taking a closer look at one of our specialized agents. So let's walk through our financial assistant. So how this actually works in code. So it's using the Strands tool function or the @tool decorator with domain-specific capabilities. And this architecture lets us create focused functions that specialize in particular domains, can leverage domain-specific models, and can process queries within their area of expertise. But for example, let's actually look at the code for our financial assistant or agent. And again, this handles financial related questions or queries. So first, when a knowledge agent actually routes the question to our financial assistant, we'll format it correctly for the financial agent with clear instructions. Then we'll actually create the financial agent. And again, this is using Writer's domain-specific Palmyra Fin model through direct integration, so with our Writer API key. Once we've created the financial assistant, we'll pass it the formatted query, and then it will return the results. But even though I'm only showing one of our specialized agents, this setup is meant to illustrate how we can build powerful, focused tools that work together inside our multi-agent system.
Now that we've learned how this is done in code, can you now show us an example of this agentic workflow in action?
Yeah. So I already have this running in my terminal. So I've started our knowledge agent, and then I'm going to ask it a pretty complex question. So for a portfolio with 60% equities and 40% bonds with a correlation of 0.2, calculate the expected portfolio return, portfolio standard deviation, and the Sharpe ratio, assuming a 2% risk-free rate. So this is a pretty complex question, right? I don't know about you, but I can't solve this.
And I.
Yeah, it would take me a very long time to be able to solve this. But if we think back to our architecture diagram, our knowledge agent should be able to route this query to our financial model, which is trained specifically to answer these financial related questions. So we can see it's routed to the financial assistant, and then we're starting to get a lot of results back that entail using very complex equations.
Wow, pretty detailed too.
Yeah. While this is running, I do want to take a step back and say that, even though I'm showing one use case, this is meant to illustrate how you can use writers' models in a multi-agent system powered by Strands Agents SDK. And it's also meant to show how you can mix and match different approaches, whether that be with Amazon Bedrock, direct integration, or Strands Agents SDK, to build and deploy powerful AI agents and workflows. But we've gotten the results back, and we can see it gives us the expected portfolio return, portfolio standard deviation, and then the Sharpe ratio. And then it gives us a little bit of an overview into what these mean, and then asks us if we have any additional questions. It shows us each one of the equations that it uses and kind of the process in which it came to that result.
That was a great example, Ashley. But now, could you tell us how users can get started building agentic workflows with Writer on AWS?
Yeah, so there's a lot that we covered today. So there's a few ways that you can actually get started. So first, you can request access to writer models on Amazon Bedrock. Alternatively, if you want to get access to writer models directly, you can head over to writer.com and get started for free today. And then lastly, if you want to install Writer on Strands Agents SDK and actually get started building these multi-agent systems, you could run pip install Strands Agents Writer. Lastly, if you want to check out this example and test it out yourself, you can head over to our public AWS Examples GitHub repository.
Links to the GitHub repo and related resources are in the description below. We'd like to thank our viewers for joining us today. Now it's your turn to develop multi-agent applications with Writer using Strands Agents on Amazon Bedrock.